In the last few years, there has been major concern with people in Leitrim and many other counties in the west of Ireland with the massive plantations of forestry. This came to a head at a public meeting a couple of weeks ago in Carrick-on-Shannon. Here we were told about massive investments being made by the European Investment Bank in forestry and about concerns that they weren't sticking to EU directives when it came to sustainability and respecting rural people's rights. Last Thursday, I had an opportunity to question the European Investment Bank on this directly.
Thank you very much. The Rapporteur Valley mentions sticking by European law, sticking by environmental law, and that their investments should be cross-cutting. And the last day when Vice President Stubb was here, I asked the question about how deeply do they look into whether the environment is taken into account with their investments, whether European law is taken into account. And Mr Stubb said that he personally would not like to have to apply for this money because there were so many stipulations around it. It was so difficult, and really he tried to reassure me that there was nothing to worry about. Since then, The Economist magazine has ran an article on investments in forestry in my country. And while it's great in the Republic of Ireland, while it's great that we see investment, it's starting to become clear, very clear, that the EU Strategic Environmental Assessment Directive means absolutely nothing to the European Investment Bank and anyone who's investing in forestry in our country. And the people who are affected feel that there is nowhere they can go about it. They can't talk to anyone about it. But there is one thing clear, that biodiversity, population, human health, flora, fauna, soil, water, air and climatic factors, they are not being taken into account. And people are, while, as I said, it's good news if you can get investment in your country, but people are horrified at what's going on. And it isn't often that an international magazine like The Economist will focus on small rural areas like where I live, but they have, because people are starting to smell a rat. It is not helping people, and as mentioned in the report, all of these things should be taken into account. And at the moment where I live and the areas where I live, we are now seen as under attack from the European Investment Bank. And I'm sure you obviously don't want that. And people, farming organisations, etc., would like to be able to talk to you about it, but they feel that there is no avenue. And going by the last day, because they heard what was said here the last day, that it would be really, really difficult to get this money. Everything will be taken into account. Oh, I'd find it difficult to apply for it myself. That's not what we're seeing. And it's our money, it's European money, and it's meant to be for our benefit. So I don't know what can be done about that, but people are seriously disturbed about it.
On the quality of the assessment and so-called independent assessment of project by DAB, checking ex ante and ex post is really something which is critical for the bank, and it should be seen in the context of what we call the project life cycle. And the assessment is not only looking at the bankability of the project, but we have within DAB a directorate with economists and engineers that are looking at all the dimensions of the project, of course, including environmental, social, and making sure that the project is fully in line with the EU acquis on the different dimensions. Many thanks.
After the meeting, I followed the members of the European Investment Bank out of the room. I asked, would they meet the Irish Natura Hill Farmers Association to discuss whether they were following the Strategic Environmental Directive. They agreed to do this. I have also contacted DG Environment and asked them will they meet with the Natura Hill farmers as well to discuss whether the European Investment Bank was following European rules. They've also agreed to do this. I'll report back to you on the results.